So you should be logged in to EDAT. And now I'm gonna go to shop. And now for the Zebu, we have the ZPC here. So that's all set up. And then you can press the button here, or we have hotkeys on the keyboard for new here. So I'll start a new build. And we got stickers printed out. I'll leave those there for now. I'll wake up the soldering iron, grab a 4-pin connector and put it in the UI jig. And then I'll grab a Blackhorn board. And as I'm taking that out, I'm checking the LEDs to make sure there's no dead ones. Plug in the Blackhorn board and the power supply. Just like that. And then press the boot hotkey. Make sure it's loading on the computer. And that's looking good. So then the UI board here, since that's good, I'll take it out and place it on here. Get a new board. And just make sure the black tabs are good. Place it in the tester and close it up. And now, using the soldering iron with the spatula tip, I'll solder the 4-pin connector, just like that. I'll grab the tweezers, pull off the yellow sticker, throw that out, and then grab the glue dots, and 2 strips should be good. And place the screen down inside the white box. I'll grab the bezel, place that on the screen nice and gently. Grab the lens here and peel off the back side, which is the larger side. And then peel off the rest. And I'll also peel the corner of the front. Just like that. And make sure that it looks nice. And I'll spray the lens and the screen and seal them down, and then I'll give a quick spray of the board. Grab a button grid, spray that. For any marks inside the button grid. And that looks good. Place it on the UI board like that. And then I'll grab a faceplate. And I'll just see if it has any defects. This one. Is that passable? Hey Travis, do you think that one here, look. So this one we deemed that it's a scratch and dent because there's a few little markings there. So I'll grab a new one. Here's the next faceplate. I'll check for scratches and dents and defects. And so far it looks good on the paint and the white paint. And I'll give a check And this jig, if there's a green line, then it's good. If it's too short, the red line will show up. So that looks good. And I'll place that onto here. And then I'll place this jig over like this. All the stickers should line up. So green, green, black, black. And I'll flip that over and pull this one off. Then I'll wake up the soldering iron, get the driver, get the standoff screws, and the standoff screws go where the blue dots are. So we got that and that. So 4 standoffs, starting with the middle. And for the driver, I like to set it to 6.5. Now, I'll get the cap screws. Looks like we need some more. So I'll put that. And the cap screws go where the red dots are on the jig. Take the rotary encoder and PCB, make sure that the middle tab has been snipped off, and place it on the right way. So there's the white lines on the face that the components go. And then I will place that onto the 4-pin connector. Get the soldering iron. Make sure that it's clean, and solder that into place. Next, we'll get the I/O board. So we have the larger CV board and then the shorter audio board. And I'll place that in the I/O jig. I'll get the SD card retainer and place that onto the SD card reader. I'll get out 3 2-inch ribbon cables and one of these, which is a 3-inch. And I'll open up the black tab. And place that in there. I'm using the ribbon cable jig. I'll close the black tabs. So we got 2-inch here, we got 3-inch in the middle. Then we got a 2-inch on this one. There we go. And then with the audio board, I'll open those up. And I will put this ribbon cable in like that. So the I/O boards should look something like this. And then I'll take that out and place into the Zebu. And I will connect the I/O boards. And I'll grab the 2-inch ribbon cable and place that in there. Spin it around and grab the large 5-inch ribbon cable. put it into the audio board like that. So it should. And now we'll next we'll attach the Blackhorn board to the Zebu, and we'll take it out of the station, and it should be bootloaded. And now I'll connect, starting with the longest one, and then the 3-inch, and then finishing with the 2-inch. I'll connect it to the Blackhorn. And the 5-inch goes to this one, which seems to be perpendicular to these other two. So I'll hold the Blackhorn in one hand and connect it like that, and then spin it around like this, and connect the 3-inch, spin it around, and connect the 2-inch cable, just like that. Next, I'll secure the Blackhorn using 4 cap screws. So I'll take that out, line it up, make sure it doesn't cross thread, and that it goes in nice and easily. Go. So we got 4 screws, that's all good. And then I'll grab the green jig and place it on top in this way. So we have the audio board and the CV board. So we'll flip them up where it says, flip it over, move this aside. And now we'll secure the notch nuts. First, I'll grab the SD card jig and place that into the SD card. That should line up this board. Grab these. And then make sure that the notched part is facing up. Since there's a flat side and a notch side, we want the notch side pointing up. And then I'll grab the driver here, set to speed 1 and torque 1, and it has this custom bit type made for these notched nuts. And then I will just drive them for a few seconds, maybe not even a second, like just a split second. And that seems to be enough. If you drive them too much, there's a chance that it'll scratch and like go into the face paint. So we don't want that. And I'll usually run my fingers just to see if there's any loose ones like we have here. So that feels better. In case there's any that are crooked, we have the manual driver. But they all look pretty straight to me. But if there was one, you could go back and retighten it. Okay, and then I'll remove this. Put on the encoder nut, fasten by hand, and then I'll grab this rocket socket, which is set, or it's number 11. That seems to fit best for the encoder nut. Put that there. Grab a Zebu knob. Check for any scratches and dents, and this one looks good. Grab the automatic driver, and I like to spin this around and make sure the flat face is facing me so I can secure it like this. Make sure it's nice and tight. Check that it presses nicely and doesn't want to fall off. So that is good. Okay, once the knob is on and the nuts are all good, pick that up and you can give it a shake just to make sure that nothing falls off. And then I'll take the sticker and put it in the back, in the top right corner, just like that. And then I'll test the Zebu, so I'll put the SD card with the latest firmware in there, power it on by putting the 2-pin cable into the 2-pin connector there. Then I'll make sure the MIDI is in. So we got MIDI going in and MIDI going out. And then make sure it's plugged in too. And then I'll hit that switch, which will tell TerraTerm to basically wait for the Zebu to tell what's going on. Plug in these things. The multi-jack testing jig into the Zebu. Close the hood. Make sure that it clears the testing jig and press that down in place. And that's good, because now it's just waiting. TerraTerm is waiting for the Zebu to do the LED calibration. And then it'll just automatically do that. Okay, so while that's testing, you can make a box. And then grab 2 side phone pieces and put that up top and bottom. Grab the warranty sticker, put that onto a warranty card, put in there, grab an Empress sticker and a ZOIA sticker, place in the box, then the bag of 4 screws and 4 washers. Just make sure that they're the right number and the right type of screw. Throw that in there. Then an SD card, just make sure the lock tab is on the card and it looks good. And then, maybe cut there. So once that box is done, I'll start the next Zebu. So I'll wake up the iron, grab the 4-pin connector and place that there. Get the black horn and check the UI board to make sure it's good. That looks good. Plug this in. Bootload it, and then take out the UI board, put into the UI jig, grab a new board, open the ribbon cable tabs, and place that into the tester. Grab the soldering iron and solder that 4-pin connector. Get the tweezers, pull off the yellow sticker. Grab the glue dots. Put down some glue dots so it's nice and sticky for the screen. Make sure it's inside the white box. Grab a bezel and place that on there. Grab a lens and scrape off the back film. There we go. And then just a corner of the front. Just like that. And then that looks pretty clean. Spray that and spray that while placing it into place. And spray the board. Grab a button grid and spray that. any defects. And that looks good. Put that on the UI board. Take out the faceplate. And check for any weird defects or marks. And that looks good. Check the height, and that looks good to me. Set on there. And then put this on top and flip it over and remove it. Then wake up the soldering iron and take out a few cap screws. And then we'll put those in place. Again, starting with the middle one and going to where all the blue dots are. And now the cap screws. Those go where the red dots are. So we got one here. Another one up there. And one up here. Grab the rotary encoder with the PCB. Make sure the metal tab has been snipped. And place that on the PCB and onto the 4-pin connector. Make sure the iron is clean and solder that. There we go. And usually at this point the tester should be all done, and it should look like this. So it did the LED calibration, did the CV test, and it passed that, and it passed the audio test, and then it should have this green text here saying it's all complete. So we'll open this up, take off the multi-jack testing jig, and I like to remove the SD card here. And now we just press all the buttons once without pressing them a second time or pressing multiple buttons at once, or else that will happen. And then you got to do it all over again. So you got to press all the buttons, including the side ones, and then input the serial number, which I would find on EDAT. I think this one, 890. And then check the LEDs. So we got all red, all green, all blue. And now we'll test the rotary encoder. That feels good. And then you gotta push it. And it says all tests passed. So now it has a pass hash here, and that will be sent automatically to EDAT. And if we turn this on again, it should be all good. It's booting 2.4, and slightly random is the first patch, so it looks all good to me. Okay, so that's all good. Unplug the MIDI, unplug the power, and I'll just do one last check to see the screws are there and the SD card retainer is in there. And then put it in the box. Grab a faceplate foam, 2 MIDI cables, and then I'll put them in like that. One of these 10 to 16 pin cables I'll put in the center like that. Then I'll grab the Euroburo addendum, ZOIA manual, and welcome guide for the Euroburo, and put that on like that. And once that's all closed up, I hit that it passed, and that will put it into inventory. Then after printed, I'll take the box sticker and put that on the back just like that. And then that will go into the red bin.